You are now watching Showbiz Now, your daily showbiz update. Isang kolumnista ang nagbigay ng kanyang opinyon at ayon sa kanya, ang katotohanan tungkol sa mga made in Malacanang. Narito ang kanyang malinaw na pagsasabi ng kanyang opinyon about sa di umano ay mga nanghuhusga na ang made in Malacanang ay isang history revisionism. Pinatunayan ng kolumnista na ito na hindi revisionism ang nasabing pelikula. Narito po ang pag-update ng Manila Bulletin. The Way We Were, How Made in Malacanang has captured an era interrupted by Elisa Romualdez Valtos. Mula sa kanya, adding on to current knowledge is not revisionism. As an archaeologist researcher, I see it as broadening our knowledge every time we are introduced to new data. Given the advancement of technology for analysis and the accessibility to a variety of social platforms to share new data, we have begun to hear stories of people who were what we call the invisibles of the past. Then, invisibles, as I call them, are subjects not talked about in our prehistoric and historic past because of religious or political structures that did not allow the acknowledgement of their existence or because the technology had not been invented yet to analyze the material evidence, especially turned to material evidence in the absence of written or oral recordings of people with first-hand knowledge. Patuloy niya, in the case of the film Made in Malacanang, however, we have first-hand accounts of witnesses and protagonists who were present and are still living. Those who have lived to tell their late, the invisibles are finally beginning to speak up after decades of it being too unpopular to do so. I bowled my eyes out at the recent premiere of Made in Malacanang. The film managed to breach the final barriers against waves of personal memories held at bay for close to 40 years in the movie. I heard the strong voice of Senator Amy Romualdez Marcos, whose memories are the foundation of this movie, a recollection of the events that happened 72 hours before her family was forced into exile. Her memories fit like pieces of a puzzle with my own memories of those days, diligently written in my 1986 diary. In this movie, amid the drama, you will glean the dynamics of the Marcos family, the nuanced relationships between and among the family members, their strength, insecurities, hopes, desires, and fears at the time. The director and screenwriter Daryl Yap was able to put into words and images what Amy could not cohesively explain publicly in one go. Yan ang pagbabahagi ng nasabing kolumnista. Pagpapatuloy niya, Amy's story is merely adding on to current knowledge. This is not revisionism or a malicious attempt to change history. It is merely Amy's story, her father's darling genius of a girl, and her experience through the eyes of the people who knew her. The staff, maids, and members of the Presidential Security Command, the PSC, before they were renamed PSG by the late Korea King of the Palace. I was first introduced to the project at a merienda attended by Daryl and his production crew at the home of former President Ferdinand E. Marcos in San Juan. I was invited so I could help with costume research, given that I spent months doing recovery and conservation work on all the old photographs and clothes of the late President Marcos and his wife, the family matriarch Imelda Romualdez Marcos. In that meeting, I met renowned costume designer Joel M.B. Bilbao. I was told two very important things. Number one, the maids in Malacanang were all registered nurses and or sundalos. Number two, they were all white nurse-type uniforms either with a skirt or pants. On very rare occasions, during visits by international personalities, they would wear a black ensemble with a white apron. Yan nga ang naging pagbabahagi ng nasabing kolumnista na talagang very important sa mga Marcos ang kahit na ang mga kasama nila sa bahay ay maging kagalang-galang sa paningin ng marami. Well, ano ang masasay nyo sa naging pagbabalandra na ito ng isang kolumnista? ilagay ang inyong opinion sa ating comment section. Images are all credit to the rightful owners, and thank you for watching Showbiz Now.